people become so hard-nosed that the diet that works for them, everybody has to now suddenly do that diet. It was that way really hard in paleo. I was like the
Yeah.
low carb guy in
Right.
paleo. And a lot of people did low carb that ate paleo, but then there were high carb athlete paleo people. They were
Right.
kind of moderate carb. Let's put the maple syrup in there. Let's eat the white potato because it's a safe starch if you cook it, chill it, and like all this kind of stuff. And there's so many moving parts that I think sometimes people's heads swim. I'm a reductionist. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
let's break it down to what
Right.
are the core things we kind of all believe in. Most of us
Right.
believe getting rid of at least the refined sugars and obviously refined grains,
Right.
and from there tweak it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
Right.
need to go very low carb and go keto, that's
Right.
one step. Maybe you can do more moderate carb but still be in a good
Right.
health. Do that. It goes back to find what works for you and do it.
Right. For me, that's the thing. I started recognizing that, a lot of people come to my website, to my Facebook page, because they are searching, how do I get rid of these stinking cravings? And I, try to be an example of you have to figure out what's going to work for you, and you've got to test your blood sugar. You've got to. I mean, it's the best way to know. I've tried multiple times to try sweet potato just to see, and often it spikes me within the hour. I could be at 90 and then I'm up to 150.
Yes.
And for me, I feel crappy all day, even if it goes back down to 90, within the next hour. I don't feel good. I'm hungry. I'm craving. So everyone is so different, that dopamine response. And then I have people in my sugar detox course that even the sweeteners that will not spike blood sugar, the ones I use are stevia, allulose, erythritol, and monk fruit. Those are the only 4 I use. And studies show they don't spike blood sugar, but that cephalic, response, some people, the taste of any sweetness triggers that dopamine and they can't have it.
Yeah,
right?
What that word you use? Cephalic?
Cephalic response is like any sweetness.
A lot of people ask me, Jimmy, how do you get such good deep sleep? Well, there's a lot of things that I do, but one of the newest things that I recently added is this upgraded magnesium from a company called Upgraded Formulas. Go to their website, upgradedformulas.com, and you can learn all about this nano technology that they use for this particular mineral of magnesium. Again, it's called Upgraded Magnesium, and it's got all the different forms of magnesium in it using the nanotechnology, so it gets absorbed a lot better. Guys, I have seen my deep sleep improve by as much as 30 to 40% simply by adding in this product along with sunshine exposure, darkness in the room, cooler temperature, all of the things that I always have done. So again, upgradedformulas.com is the website. Go check them out. So I've heard of hedonic response, that once you get that taste, it's like you can't stop. You have to keep doing it. And so that's a trigger. Like if you guys know that's a trigger for you,
right?
Stop before you start.
Right.
And get that under control. And it could be, and by the way, back in 2011, I did a sweet free challenge N=1 for a whole month.
Did you?
Ate the same meals that I always had, but I was not allowed to have any food that tasted sweet. So not only sugar, of course, but no sweeteners, not even fruit, not even like almonds, which taste to the tongue. So if it had any sweet taste at all, I was trying to train my brain not to taste sweet. What does that feel like? And then after the 30 days was over, reintroduce the sweet. Now, oh my God, Brenda, it blew my head off. Everything was so overwhelmingly sweet. To this day, I still can't eat berries. They're too sweet.
Wow. And did you test your blood at the time? Did you try stevia or other sweeteners?
Yeah. I'm out in the post experiment. Yeah, I've tested my blood because I back in the day I used to do all these N=1 testing with blood sugar because I was kind of a nerd, and I'm still a nerd. But I did sugar, I did Splenda, I did stevia, I did erythritol, and all these different ones just to see. And some of them were like in the Diet Coke form. Okay, that little mix with aspartame. What does that do? And so it was fascinating for me. A lot of them made me hypoglycemic,
Oh, really?
pushing insulin up,
Okay.
pushing blood sugar up. And so my insulin was pushing down the glucose because there was nothing for it to consume. There was no glucose there. So it was pushing me down. So I start getting like dizzy headed, eating.
Right.
But like not everybody has that response, which is again, bio-individuality
Right. Right.
for you.
And I think that over time, when you decide to take away the sugar and the refined carbs and you eat a whole food diet, right? Protein, vegetable, healthy fat, maybe you do need to eliminate all the sugar-free desserts. Your, ghrelin hormone, the leptin hormone, all of that can start regulating. And that's what I found. Like, so I think if someone had told me back when I was going sugar-free, I could never have a sugar-free dessert again, I would have said, I can't do this then. I want to be able to make a birthday cake that I can enjoy. I don't want to have a life where I can't have certain things and have FOMO. I want to be able to make those desserts. So for me, it was a challenge. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to a party with my dessert and everybody's going to love it.
Follow Dr. Will Cole. He has reframed FOMO into JOMO, the joy of missing out, because you have joy cutting sugar out because you know how it's helped your health. And
Right.
so the interesting little psychological thing you can
I like that. Yeah. I like that. No, because for me now, that's what I love to create in the kitchen, because I get that dopamine kick when the jaws drop, because my family doesn't do low carb except my husband, and my kids are low carb. But the rest of the family, Italian, they eat the bread. In fact, my dad, I talked to him yesterday, Brenda, he's got the Sicilian, I'm making your favorite food. I said, what is it, Daddy? Bread? He's like, yes, rustic bread. I like gluten. Oh, so he still asks me 15 years later. And, it's fine. I just smile and I say, Daddy, it's fine, but I'm not having it. You can't convince me. You can't convince me.
I still love you, Dad, but
Yeah.
I love myself and my health even more. So.
Yeah.
So Cheryl had a question. She said, so what was it that made your hair fall out, Brenda? I've been keto about 2 years. I've lost 130 pounds, but my hair got really thin over that last 6 to 8 months.
So eating the high fat in 2015 helped me grow the hair back. My doctor wouldn't test for the thyroid. So I did get a trainer. I didn't lose weight. But by 2015, the eyebrow hair started falling out again. The bald spot in the back started coming back. So there are some people that need medication, right? Keto can't fix everybody with low thyroid. So I knew in my heart I had low thyroid. I went back to the doctor in 2018. I said, again, I'm lethargic. I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I need 4 cups of coffee a day to survive. I'm forgetting my friends' names.
Yes.
I mean, I felt like, you know what they wanted to do? Oh, let's go see a psychologist. Let's go see if you have, brain issue. So finally he said, no, I'm not going to test you. I said, well, I will pay for my records to be sent to an endocrinologist who found chronic Epstein-Barr and found low thyroid. But I will say this, my thyroid number for 3T3 was in range. It was at the bottom of the range with all these horrible symptoms. And I begged her to give me a small dose for a month to just see if my symptoms, because aren't we supposed to go by symptoms? Yes. I don't care what those ranges are. If you feel like crap, you're not optimal. I don't care, So she did. She was willing. And she gave me the lowest dose and I felt better, but it was only Synthroid. So it was only T4. So for those who don't know, your T4 is your storage hormone. Like it's like your gasoline tank, right? And your free T3 is where you pump, you pump the active hormone that you need for metabolism in your brain and all these things. And so you've got to be able to convert T4 to T3. So my free T3 was super low. And I even said to her, I said, well, it's 2.2. So if it was 2.1, you'd put me on medication if it was one number different. And she said, yes. So anyway, they gave me the T4, but 6 months in and I still didn't feel great. And then I read a book, Stop the Thyroid Madness.
Yes.
Yep. And I read L. Russ's book, I have it here, Paleothyroid Solution. And I said, isn't my issue free T3? Can't you just give me a nice combination? So I'm advocating for myself. I'm teaching the doctor because they put everybody on Synthroid. Well, it didn't work for me.
They don't even know about like the desiccated pig thyroid,
No,
uh,
right.
nothing.
Right. So she was going to do that for me, and I have gluten allergies and dairy allergies, and the fillers contain those things. So
Yes,
she put me on a compounded.
they probably do just desiccated pig thyroid with non-reactionary fillers, but that's expensive.
Right. It is. It was out of pocket. It was like $60 per month. But I did it because I was like, I don't want those fillers. I'm trying to, remove these fillers. So that's what ended up happening in the finally, I think it was finally when we got adjusted, spring of 2019. She put it on, she put me on it, and within a month, changing nothing in my diet, all the symptoms went away.
Yeah.
All of them. I lost 8 pounds effortlessly.
Wow.
So it was my thyroid all along,
Wow. Well, and look, that's the other moving parts to this. Like, I get a lot of criticism online, if you haven't noticed. And so
Yeah.
people just say, well, you're eating keto. You should be able to get your weight under control. You look unhealthy, all this nonsense that they put out there. And it's like, there's so many moving parts to this
Yeah.
outside diet that, like, if I go to the rest of my life, dedicate people to look at
Mhm.
all the things outside of diet, I assume
Mhm.
that kind of there's enough resources out there,
Mhm.
you can kind of know how to do the diet. Then if you get stuck at that point, all right, now let's
Mhm.
look at other things. Like I'm doing ice baths right now to
I've been watching you. You're the greatest biohacker of all. That's amazing every day. Yeah, that's really great.
those kind of things, Brenda. It's like if you can't like get the diet down and don't get discouraged along the
Mhm.
way. This is something that if someone's on a sugar-free journey or a
Mhm.
low carb or ketogenic journey and they're not seeing the results they want in the time frame they want, and you know
Right.
that they'll give up because, well, I'm not seeing any weight loss, not realizing that, okay, now that your foundation is in place with the nutrition and getting
Mhm.
minerals and vitamins and
Mhm.
sufficiency, and the endocrine system balance
Yeah.
out things, then you can start working on these other things to try to move the needle more. But it's not just the food. In fact, who was it? Melissa Hartwig from the Whole 30, she wrote a
Yes.
book called It Starts with
Yeah.
Food. Not starts and ends, just
Right.
start with food and then you build from there.
Right. And I was, I was grateful for these, these discoveries that happened because then I researched everything and I became an advocate for myself. And then Uh, but lo and behold, it was the mold. So we didn't know about the mold until 2020 when COVID hit. My daughter had to be home more, right? So she's in her room. She started having symptoms, and that made us investigate the house. So though my thyroid seemed better, the mold toxicity was in her and me. We were susceptible. My husband and sons were not, and then I had all those symptoms back again with the hair loss. But this time we figured it's not the thyroid. Which one was it first? We don't know. Probably the mold. But that's when you realize I've got to be my own advocate. I went back to the endocrinologist and I said, I'm having these symptoms. And then she looked, she was giving me now too much T3, and it made my free T4 go low. And then I had those brain fog symptoms again, like I was losing my mind, whatever. And so I bought an infrared sauna. Dr. Will Cole's my doctor, been working on that to detox the mold. Finally, it took a while, but finally the mold is out. My daughter's being treated as well. And you just uncover these things that as you remove yourself from sugar and refined, and you stop numbing yourself to feel better, then you recognize, okay, there is more to this because I'm being diligent in the food, right?
Thank you for saying that because I feel like a lot of people go on the diet, whatever diet, they
Hmm.
pounds, they feel better, and they think that's the end of the story.
Right.
To me, that's just the opening chapter in this long ass novel. So
You're right.
rest of your life. And it's like if you start it, but then you don't finish it, how do you know how the story ends? Like, don't you
Yeah.
want to see how the story ends? And so this is why I'm so passionate about everything.
Yeah.
Um, is in this space because then once you get one done, okay, let's see what a little more optimal means. And so
Yeah.
let's get training. Let's go do regular walks and get breathing and sunshine. Let's see what that does. Let's optimize our sleep. Let's do all stress management, all these
Mhm.
different things. Let's cut out dairy. Let's see if that makes a difference for a period of time. That's what I'm
Right.
doing. Not eating any dairy at all.
Oh, it's
Just
so hard.
Well, and it's not as bad because I've done this a little while.
Yeah.